Nassau and Paradise Island is home to the world's clearest turquoise waters and white sand beaches. Unwind in world-class resorts. Indulge in five-star dining. Escape to hidden coves and sunset sails. All this and more is just a short flight away. This holiday season, plan your escape at NassauParadiseIsland.com.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Hey, girl, what's happening? Is that your antiperspirant?
Yeah.
Let me see that can. Aluminum, butane, I cannot pronounce that. You have to switch to Native deodorant. Native Simple Formula has only clean ingredients. It gives you effective 72-hour odor protection with no hydrocarbon propellants.
Wow, this smells heavenly.
Clean, effective 72-hour odor protection isn't a myth.
It's Native. Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
I had joint pain, and I couldn't move like I used to.
I needed relief.
I got Cosentyx.
It helped me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
In recent weeks, a massive cold front swept across much of the country, knocking out power, shutting down roads, and leaving tens of millions dealing with dangerously low temperatures. For some, the disruption lasted hours, but for others it was several days. While that storm is now behind us, scientists warn that extreme weather is becoming more volatile, with stronger storms, deeper freezes, and greater unpredictability. And when those events hit, one of the first things to go out is often the one we rely on most: communication.
You know, a lot of people will do the water thing and they'll do the food thing and a first aid kit, but very rarely do they think about, hey, how am I going to communicate after a disaster hits? Because we become so dependent on cell phone and internet that to many of us, we just can't even imagine a world without it.
That's Joe Bassett, a survival expert and the co-author of the book Emergency Communication 101. He says this dependence creates a dangerous blind spot that only emerges after systems fail. One person who learned this the hard way is Hansen, a writer and producer for us at Viewpoints Radio. Hansen and her husband live in Asheville, North Carolina, where Hurricane Helene in 2024 left much of the region without power, clean water, or reliable communication for months.
The electricity company sent an email saying, hey, we think there's a good chance power might go out. You should fill your bathtub with water. And I was thinking, what's water got to do with electricity? But it's the city pumps are run by electricity. And so I said, what do I know? I doubt that the storm's going to get all the way up to the mountains because hurricanes don't make it to the mountains. But I filled up the tub anyway. And of course, the water was shut off. We didn't have water for 2 months, no running water for 2 months.
Now, looking back, she shares what would have been most helpful to have during that time.
We have a radio, of course, with AM, FM, but it was plug-in, and we didn't have any batteries for it. So that was really important because we felt cut off from the radio stations that were up and running with emergency messages on the hour, every hour. We did have to go out and charge our phones in the car. And of course, the tank had less than a quarter of a tank. It just so happened. And so we couldn't run the car very often to charge the phones.
You may think, well, why not just wait in the long lines to get gas? But Hansen says all of the gas stations in the region were closed because they also needed electricity to stay open. Some residents in the area who had enough gas drove hours to Charlotte to load up on gas and bring it back.
We found out that there was Wi-Fi at the library. If you stood outside the library, you might be able to pick up Wi-Fi. So a lot of people were standing outside the public library trying to pick up Wi-Fi. I remember I tried sending an email to work to let you guys know that I was okay.
And losing communication doesn't just create logistical challenges, but can also take a heavy psychological toll on people who are used to spending hours on their phones and laptops every day.
It was difficult. It was really isolating, not having Wi-Fi. People were able to text us, but we were not able to text out. So the first time we found out what was happening in Asheville, a relative sent us a photo of the devastating damage. And we were just shocked, that this was going on just a mile away from us. We had no idea of the extent of the damage.
So where to start if you're listening to this and realize you need a communication backup plan? Bassett says the most basic tool is also one of the most important, a simple AM or weather radio that runs on batteries or a hand crank. These can deliver critical emergency information when the grid is down. From there, people can scale up and consider investing in walkie-talkies, satellite devices, or internet-based systems. But he's clear that every option has certain limitations.
There is only one technology that can operate completely independent of the grid. Even satellite phones and satellite devices, or something like Starlink, it still is going to depend on the infrastructure at some level. But radio communication, particularly two-way radio communication, can provide that ability for us to talk with somebody else without being on the grid at all, or when there is a complete grid failure.
To some, the idea of a ham radio may feel intimidating or outdated, but ham radio, which is short for amateur radio, is a two-way communication system that doesn't rely on cell towers, Wi-Fi, or the internet. In an emergency, it allows people to send and receive voice messages over long distances using radio waves. Operating a ham radio does require a license, which exists to make sure users understand basic radio rules and how to communicate safely without interfering with other emergency signals. Once you get past that initial learning curve, Bassett says the system is far more accessible than most people expect.
Ham radio is very scalable. To get into ham radio, the license, just the license itself, is going to cost you $35 after you pass an exam. Now, many people can pass that exam very easily. I am a former school teacher, and I had 4th and 5th graders that were able to pass the entry-level ham radio exam. So there's very low learning curve on that. To get started at that level, you can have 2 or 3 of those radios that can reach a mile or two for less than $100.
The biggest mistake, he says, is assuming you can figure all of this out at a moment's notice.
These devices are not plug and play. It's a low learning curve, but there's still a learning curve. And you're going to need to prepare and learn how to use these devices before society collapses or before that big disaster that renders, the government worrying about whether you're licensed or not inapplicable. So you want to make sure that you have those things taken care of beforehand and that you're prepared. Also having a communications plan, even if you don't get into the two-way radio aspect of it, having a communications plan with your family is invaluable. And it works very much like, many of us, we have a fire escape plan for if our house is on fire. And all right, these are our escape routes, and we're all going to meet in the backyard at this place if something happens. Similar type of thing with communication. All right, something happens and, one parent is at work and another parent is out shopping and kids are at school. Well, how are we going to get in touch with us if a disaster hits that hits us unexpectedly?
Preparedness doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with having a reliable way to receive information and knowing where local emergency updates come from in your area. From there, it means building some form of two-way communication, whether that's basic walkie-talkies with neighbors or a licensed radio system. And finally, it requires a plan that everyone understands so every member of the family knows how to check in if the power goes out. As extreme weather becomes more unpredictable, the question isn't whether communication will break down, but when. To learn more about emergency communication planning and our guests, Joe Bassett and Polly Hansen, head to viewpointsradio.org. This story was written by our executive producer, Amirah Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jay Silvers. I'm Gary Price.
What should you invest in, and how often? Making investing decisions is easier with Fidelity. With their step-by-step experience, you can find investments based on your goals and comfort level. And if you'd like, you can decide how much and how often to invest with recurring investments that happen automatically. Ready to make your next investing decision? Head to fidelity.com/trading. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
I had joint pain, and I couldn't move like I used to.
I needed relief.
I got Cosentyx.
It helped me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
February is the month of being in love with a rich, creamy sensation of My Mochi ice cream. My Mochi is premium ice cream wrapped in soft, chewy dough. It's like a sweet ice cream dumpling. It comes in delicious fruit flavors like strawberry and mango, and classic favorites like cookies and cream. Every box of My Mochi has 6 mochis, so it's fun to share with the people you love most. Grab a purple box of My Mochi ice cream today and feel joyfully chill.
Dermatologists have long highlighted the benefits of indoor humidity for healthy, glowing skin. Dry air can start damaging your skin in just 30 minutes. That's where Canopy Humidifier comes in. Recommended by leading dermatologists, the Canopy Humidifier is a completely reimagined humidifier with invisible, clean moisture, the best kind for your skin. Go to getcanopy.co to save $25 on your purchase today with Canopy's filter subscription. Even better, use code SIRIUS to save an additional 10% off your Canopy purchase. Your skin will thank you.